there is a lot of talk every year about the star players who are coming back. Everyone's really excited to see Keontae Ingram's senior season at Carthage after a tremendous junior year. Everyone's really excited to see what Spencer Sanders does at Denton Ryan.
Yep.
Right? Everyone's really excited to see what all these big statistical leaders who came back, who had put up, were just sensational. Matt Gamm at Highland Park.
Yeah.
You know, people are excited to see the Brendan Brady at Cibolo Steel. These types of guys.
Did you say Matt Gamm at Highland Park?
Yeah.
That's not the quarterback at Highland Park.
I'm not talking about the quarterback. He's a linebacker.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the quarterbacks.
No,
sorry.
We're getting there.
Okay, sorry.
I'm taking the listener on a journey, Max.
Sorry.
Guys like DeAndre Glass, right? At Katy.
Right, okay.
Known commodities we know are coming back. But I feel like people don't talk enough about guys who have giant shoes to fill. And specifically the quarterback position, because there's no more singular position. If you are a running back, like, you can replace a running back with a committee, right? Theoretically. Now,
depending on the offense and the package, right?
Exactly. But you could do that. Like, if you lose a star running back and then you bring back two good running backs, you're like, okay, well, they'll pick up the slack.
There's no question that your team can rise and fall with the quarterback more than any other position.
More than any other position. And so I kind of highlighted a few guys that I'm really excited to see take over for these places, for key quarterbacks who are now gone. Now, I think it's worth mentioning there's a couple of places that are on our list that they don't know who it's going to be. For example, Leveland. Okay, Nick Gerber set all sorts of state records last year. Do you know how many other people on Leveland threw a pass last year?
None? Not even on a trick play?
Every single pass was thrown by Nick Gerber. And so it's a total mystery, and we haven't heard from their new coach yet as to who he's thinking is going to be the new quarterback. We don't know. Same thing kind of in Cibolo Steel.
Yeah.
Down in Steel, we heard from Coach David Sands, and we asked him, okay, like, who do you think is going to be the new quarterback? And he didn't list anybody.
Yeah.
And then you go look at their statistical leaders from last year. You go look at their stats. They had 3 different guys throw passes, all seniors.
Yeah.
All seniors. So we don't know who's taking the reins for Steel. Now, I think it's less important than at Leveland because they do have Brendan Brady and 5 offensive linemen back.
Right.
But it is a big question of who's going to take over for Xavier Martin. Let's start in Central Texas, though.
Okay.
Lake Travis, right? 6A Division I state champions, riding high behind their outstanding quarterback, Charlie Brewer.
The most efficient quarterback in the history of the nation.
In the history of the nation, right? It looks like, barring some sort of injury or upset, and that's kind of the caveat for all these things, it looks like it's going to be Matthew Baldwin.
Yeah, got plenty of time last year.
He got some nice mop-up time because they were winning big. He ends up throwing for 671 yards and 9 touchdowns. Look, he looks like he should be next in line if just the conveyor belt, right?
Right.
Lake Travis quarterbacks just put him out. But, doing it against the ones, running against the ones is going to be different than running against the twos.
Yeah, it sounds like he did a serviceable job. I think that when the Steel game, they needed him to play a bunch. It sounds like he's ready. He's just going to be a senior.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like he's ready unless one of the younger guys can sort of usurp him. It sounds like he's in a good position.
Across town, Sam Ellinger is now at the university. Sam Ellinger is still in Austin, but he's not playing for Westlake. Looks like Taylor Anderson will probably be the guy. Taylor Anderson did play when he had the unique ability or the unique situation, unlike Baldwin, where he was forced into duty because Ellinger was banged up, and he played a lot. And I think he acquitted himself okay. 819 yards passing, 131 yards rushing. We're going to see what kind of magic Todd Dodge has to turn another guy into the guy at Westlake. Mm-hmm. What about DeSoto? DeSoto, Sean Robinson is off to TCU after guiding them to their first state championship. Looks like it's going to be Courtney Douglas. Courtney Douglas looks like could be the next guy at DeSoto.
When Robinson transferred, there was a lot of talk that maybe Douglas would still win the job. That they felt I think he played all 7-on-7 last summer for them and was outstanding.
He is a similar player to Robinson in the sense that he's a physical runner and he's got a big arm. So maybe the offense doesn't change a whole lot. In talking with Coach Peterman, he thinks they can be just as good as they were last year. They lose some of the high-profile guys, but he thinks the overall sum of the talent. A lot of that will come from Douglas under center. What about down in Atascocita? Davion Boyd was sensational, dazzling. It looks like they're going to go to a sophomore. Darius Edmonds is the name to know. Sophomore. He looks the part. 6'3", 180, runs a 4.6 40. He looks the part. Can he fill the big shoes left by Davion Boyd? At the Woodlands, it's an interesting situation because you're not just losing a great quarterback in Eric Schmid. You're losing the coach's kid, and you're losing a great leader. It looks like they're going to have an open competition during spring. The front runner, if there is a front runner, looks like it's going to be Casey Sinceri is the name to know. Played JV last year, a quick-footed junior. He's going to compete for the job. But how the Woodlands replaces Eric Schmid is one of the big questions for 6A football in the Houston area, all told.
Right.
Because they were such a dominant force last year. How they replace that offense, especially the trigger man there, is going to be interesting to see. And finally, let's go out west. San Angelo Central is going to be without Cal Vincent. Cal Vincent is off. They're going to turn, and you saw him, Maverick McIver. If you know the last name, it is Rick McIver's kid. Rick McIver, of course, played for Texas in the 70s. Maverick McIver is an interesting story. He actually transferred to San Angelo Central from Fort Davis, where he played six-man ball. And he transferred from Fort Davis to San Angelo Central, and he was sensational six-man player. He was I believe he was the Odessa Americans, like newcomer of the year in six-man football. So this kid can play. I wonder. I still wonder about that transition to 11-man ball. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but I think that this will be an interesting test case of here's a guy taking over for a highly touted quarterback, and his job is going to be to run this offense just like it was run last year. So those are some of the quarterbacks that need to be replaced around the state. Of course, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Those are ones that sprung to mind to me today. This is going to be interesting and could have a major effect on shaping what football looks like in Texas in 2017.